If you're about to buy a Nikon camera in 2026, stop. Because right now, at this very moment, Nikon is still selling cameras that represent terrible value at modern prices. Some of these are straight-up traps, overpriced entry-level full-frame bodies, obsolete APS-C cameras still sitting on shelves. And yes, a DSLR you absolutely should not buy anymore. Let's talk about 3 Nikon cameras you should avoid in 2026, and more importantly, what to buy instead. Welcome to Alt Buzz, where we cut through marketing hype and talk real-world camera value. If you want honest gear advice without brand loyalty nonsense, hit that subscribe button. This channel will genuinely save you money, and today's video is proof of that. Here's the thing about 2026. Autofocus matters, video features matter. System longevity matters more than ever before. But Nikon is still selling cameras priced like it's 2021. They're asking you to pay modern money for outdated value propositions. And that's a problem. So let's start counting down from number 3 to number 1, the worst offender. At number 3, the Nikon D7500. Yes, people are still being sold this camera as new in 2026. Walk into certain retailers, browse certain websites, and there it is. The D7500, near original MSRP. Sitting there like it's still relevant, like the world hasn't moved on, like DSLR technology still has a future. But here's what they're not telling you. The F-mount ecosystem is effectively dead. Nikon isn't developing new F-mount lenses. They're not innovating in that space. Every ounce of their engineering energy, every bit of research and development budget, every talented engineer at Nikon is focused on Z-mount mirrorless, which means if you buy this camera today, you're locking yourself into a closed, shrinking system with diminishing long-term support. Let's talk video, because in 2026, video matters. Hybrid shooting matters. The D7500 has weak video autofocus. It doesn't have reliable, continuous autofocus for video work. There's no uncropped 4K at 60 frames per second. These aren't luxuries anymore. These aren't nice-to-have features. These are baseline expectations in 2026. Content creators need these features. Hybrid shooters need these features. YouTubers need these features. And this camera simply doesn't deliver. Then there's the upgrade path, or rather the complete lack of one. Where do you go from here? Another DSLR? The market is moving away from them. Resale values are tanking month after month. If you want to switch to mirrorless later, and you will want to eventually, every F-mount lens you bought needs an adapter. You're essentially starting over from scratch. And let's be honest about what's happening here. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't about appreciating classic technology. This is a dead-end investment. In 2026, buying a D7500 new is buying into yesterday's technology at near yesterday's prices. That makes zero sense when Nikon's own Z series lineup offers better performance, better future compatibility, better lens options, and better resale stability at similar price points. At number 2, the Nikon Z50 Generation 1. This camera shouldn't even be on shelves anymore, but it is, and that's the problem. The original Z50, the first generation model, still available new, still being marketed to unsuspecting buyers, still taking up retail space. And here's the kicker, the thing that makes this truly absurd. The Z50 Generation 2 exists, with the X-Speed 7 processor, with modern autofocus, with all the features and refinements that the first generation should have had from day one. Let's talk about what you're actually getting with the Z50 Generation 1. Outdated autofocus. And I'm not being picky here. The system genuinely struggles with fast-moving subjects. Subject detection is unreliable at best. If you're shooting sports, if you're shooting wildlife, if you're shooting kids running around, if you're shooting anything that moves unpredictably, this camera will frustrate you. It will miss shots. It will hunt for focus at critical moments. It will let you down when it matters most. There's no USB-C power delivery. In 2026, that's genuinely absurd. Content creators need continuous power for long recording sessions. Streamers need continuous power for multi-hour broadcasts. Live event shooters need continuous power for all-day coverage. This camera doesn't offer it. You're stuck swapping batteries mid-shoot or using bulky external power solutions that defeat the entire purpose of a compact APS-C body. The flip-down rear screen. On paper, it sounds like a feature. In practice, it's actually a significant limitation. Mount this camera on a tripod, and the screen blocks the mounting plate. Put it on a gimbal, same exact problem. For vloggers, for solo creators, for anyone shooting themselves, for anyone who needs to see what they're recording while recording it, this design is a genuine nightmare. And here's the thing that makes this truly inexcusable. The detail that pushes this from questionable to completely unjustifiable. The price gap between the Z50 Generation 1 and the Z50 Generation 2 is tiny in 2026. Minimal. Sometimes there's a sale and they're almost identical in price, so you're being asked to choose between obsolete technology and modern technology for basically the same money. That's not a choice. That's a trap. Buying a new Z50 Generation 1 in 2026 is essentially buying electronic waste. You're paying good money for something that was outdated the moment its successor launched. There is no scenario where this makes sense. None. This is one of the weakest value propositions in Nikon's entire current lineup. Quick pause here. If you want full camera buyer guides, long-term value rankings, and real-world recommendations that go way deeper than YouTube's format allows, check out the website linked in the description below. And if you want direct access to buying advice, deal alerts, and deeper breakdowns of exactly what's worth your money and what isn't, consider becoming a channel member. It directly supports the research that goes into videos like this. All right, let's talk about the biggest offender of them all. At number 1, the Nikon Z5 II. This is marketed as an entry-level full-frame mirrorless camera. That's the positioning. That's how Nikon wants you to see it. Entry-level, accessible, affordable, the gateway to full-frame photography. Except there's a massive problem that completely undermines this entire narrative. The price, around $1,700 at launch. $1,700. That's not entry-level pricing. That's not accessible pricing. That's mid-range pricing. That's asking serious money. And here's what you're getting for that $1,700. Incremental upgrades over the original Z5, slightly improved autofocus performance, minor refinements to the menu system, small quality of life improvements, nothing groundbreaking, no meaningful leap in sensor performance, no revolutionary video features, no dramatic increase in shooting speed. It's just small iterative improvements that don't justify the premium. Now let's talk about what else is available for that money, or more importantly, for less money. The original Nikon Z5 is widely available used for about 50% of the price of the Z5 II. 50%, half the cost. You're getting essentially the same camera, the same sensor, the same core performance, the same image quality for half the cost. That's a massive value difference that's impossible to ignore. Used Nikon Z6 Generation 2 bodies. These are floating around the used market right now in excellent condition. Better sensor, better low-light performance, faster continuous shooting, more professional build quality, better weather sealing, often cheaper than a brand new Z5 II. Think about that for a moment. You could buy a used higher-tier camera with objectively better specifications for less money than the new entry-level model. That's backwards. And then there's the Nikon ZF, the retro-style beauty with Speed 7 processing power. Class-leading autofocus that actually works. Stronger resale value because it's a more distinctive, more desirable body that people actually want. Yes, it costs more new, but the value proposition is clear. The performance gap is real and measurable. You're paying for something genuinely better, not just something newer. So what are you actually paying for with the Z5 II? You're paying for the new designation. You're paying for the latest model year. You're paying for a 2025 or 2026 stamp on the box. You're not paying for substantive technological improvement. You're not paying for a camera that redefines its category. You're not paying for breakthrough features that change how you shoot. You're paying a premium for a badge, for newness itself, not for actual meaningful advancement. In a world where value matters, where every dollar needs to count, where consumers are smarter than ever about researching before buying, the Z5 II is genuinely difficult to justify. unless it's heavily discounted, unless there's a significant sale that brings it down to reasonable pricing, unless the price drops substantially from launch MSRP. At full retail, at $1,700, this camera represents poor value per dollar, and it's outclassed by both older professional tier models and newer enthusiast bodies within Nikon's own lineup. Here's what all three of these cameras have in common: modern prices, outdated value. They're asking you to pay 2026 money for technology, ecosystems, and performance that don't match 2026 expectations. The Z5 Mark II is overpriced for its minimal generational improvement. The Z50 Generation 1 is technologically obsolete, sitting right next to its direct successor. The D7500 represents sunk cost thinking in a declining DSLR ecosystem that has no future. And here's the frustrating part. Nikon's own lineup provides better alternatives in every single case. You don't need to leave the brand. You don't need to switch ecosystems. You don't need to learn a new menu system. You just need to buy smarter. Used Z6 Generation 2 instead of new Z5 Mark II. Z50 Generation 2 instead of Generation 1. Any Z-mount mirrorless body instead of the D7500. This isn't about hating Nikon. This is about recognizing poor value when it's staring you in the face. About prioritizing system longevity. About understanding autofocus sophistication. About protecting resale value. About making purchases that make sense in 2026, not purchases that made sense 5 years ago. If this video helped you avoid a bad purchase, if it saved you from making an expensive mistake, do me a favor and subscribe. More honest gear breakdowns are coming every single week. No brand loyalty, no sponsor bias, just real-world value analysis that actually helps you make better decisions. And if you really want to support the channel, if videos like this are genuinely helpful and you want to see more of them, super thanks are always appreciated. They directly help fund future testing, deeper dives, hands-on reviews, and the kind of independent research that keeps Alt Buzz honest. Check the website for full buyer guides. Check the membership options if you want ongoing advice and early access to research. And check back next week for more cameras, more analysis, more honest takes that cut through the noise. Because in the end, your money matters. Your gear choices matter. And in a market full of marketing speak and sponsored content, someone needs to tell you the truth. In a world of endless options, the wisest choice is often the one you don't make. This is Alt Buzz, where hype fades and value remains. See you in the next one.